Hi everyone and welcome to chapter 2 ratios problem recording. So we're going to solve bunch of problems and discuss the solution about it. So in December 2015, Electric General had a book value of 98 billion, 9.4 billion share outstanding and a market price of $31. GE also had a cash of 102 billion and debt of 199 billion. So they're asking you to calculate bunch of ratios. So what was GE's market cap? Now how do you calculate market cap of a company? Market cap of a company you calculate by multiplying number of shares into share price. So it has 9.4 billion shares and the share price is 31 billion. So it is 9.4 billion shares and the share price is 31 billion. So 291.4 is the market cap. So that was the first part. What is market cap to book value ratio? Now what is book value of the share? Book value is given $98 billion and market cap you just calculate. So 98 billion is the book value and market cap was 291. So market to book value is 2.97. Okay. Next, what was GE's book debt to equity ratio? What was GE's market to debt to equity ratio? So they are asking you debt to equity ratio and debt to market ratio. So how do you calculate that? In first case, it will be total debt. So total debt given was 199 billion. So total debt 199 billion divided by book value of equity, that is 98. So it comes to 2.03. In the second case it will be 199, that is the debt that is given, divided by market value of equity. So that comes to 0.68. Okay. What is GE's enterprise value? Now how do you calculate enterprise value? It is market value of the company plus market value of debt minus the total cash it has. So once again, enterprise value of a company is market value of equity plus debt minus cash. So if you put numbers in, whatever was given, 171.4 is the market value plus what's the debt, 199 billion, plus minus what is the cash. Cash is given to be 102 billion. So 102 billion. So enterprise value for this company General Electric is 388 billion. Okay. Next, 20th one. In December 2015, Apple had a cash of 38.07 billion, current assets of 76.22 billion and a current liability of 76.09 billion. It also had an inventory of 2.45 billion. So they are asking you current ratio, quick ratio. In 2016, HP had a quick ratio of 0.66 and current ratio of 0.9. What can you say about liquidity of Apple as compared to HP? So let's do that. So current ratio we know it is current ratio we know it is current assets divided by current liabilities, and quick ratio, if you look at the formula, it is current assets minus inventories divided by current liability. Okay, so let's see what's given. So current assets of 76, current liabilities of 76.09, 76.22. So current ratio will be 76.22 divided by 76.09. So that comes to 1.08. It's almost 1. Quick ratio is current assets minus inventories divided by current assets 76.22 minus inventories of 2.45 divide, so let's calculate that, and then that divided by current liabilities, so that is 76.09. So 0.97 is the quick ratio. Now they have given for Apple, so Apple had a quick ratio, or Apple had a quick HP had a quick ratio of 0.66 and 0.9. So if you see, it is 0.66 for HP and 0.9. Now if you look at the Excel sheet that we discussed, higher the current and quick ratio, better is the solvency of the company in the short term. So it is better is the liquidity position. So current ratio of Apple is higher, quick ratio of Apple is higher than HP. So both are good things for Apple. Apple has a better liquidity position than HP. Okay. Next one that we did was 22. Next one we are going to discuss is 22. In fiscal year 2015, Walmart had a revenue of $485.65 billion, gross profit $120 billion, and a net income of $16 billion. Costco's revenue was 116, gross profit 15 billion, and a net income of 2.8 billion. They are asking you to calculate gross margins for Walmart and Costco, net profit margins for Walmart and Costco, and which firm was more profitable. So let's see. I'll just clear this one. How do you calculate gross margin? Gross margin is gross profit divided by sales. So what is gross profit for Walmart? Let's do Walmart first. Walmart has a gross profit of 120, sales of 485. So 120.57 divided by 485.65. This was Walmart. Let's do it for Costco now. Costco's gross profit was $15 billion, sales was $116 billion. So 15.13 divided by 116.20. So Walmart has a gross profit of 24%, Costco has a gross profit of 30%. Net profit is net profit divided by sales. Net income divided by sales. 16.36 divided by 485.65 and 2.38 divided by 116.20. So 16.36 divided by 485.65. So 3% and 3.37% something. And for Costco it is 2.38 divided by 116.20. So calculation was okay. Now how do you compare these firms, Costco and Walmart? So gross profit indicates efficiency of managing direct cost. So efficiency of managing direct cost is more for Walmart than for Costco. Net profit indicates efficiency of managing direct, indirect and finance costs. So direct, indirect and financing cost. So total efficiency of everything like managing direct, indirect and financing cost for Apple is higher than Costco. So Walmart is higher than Costco. So Walmart is more efficient in managing direct cost as well as managing other costs too than Costco. Okay. Next one is 24. So 24th problem is dependent on 23, so let's read 23 and then solve, because gross profit, operating profit, net profit we already saw. So local has sales of 10 million, cost of sales is 6 million, its general and administrative expenses of 500,000, and research and development is 1 million. Its annual depreciation charge is 1 million and a tax rate is 35. So they're asking you, in problem had an increase in selling expense of 300,000, what would be impact on margin? So 23 and 24 are linked together, so let's solve both of them. Okay, so what is gross profit? So gross margin was gross profit divided by sales. So what is gross profit for local company? Gross profit is always sales minus direct cost. So 10 minus 6 million, that is 4 million, will be gross profit divided by 10. So gross margin will be 10 minus 6 divided by 10. So it is sure, it has its own mind. Okay, 40%. Then they're asking you operating margin. Operating margin is generally operating income or EBITDA, operating income or EBITDA divided by sales. Okay, now what is operating income? It will be, let's see, it will be 10 minus cost of sales 6 minus SGA 500,000, so 0.5 million, then development 1 million and annual depreciation 1 million. You do not consider taxes in EBITDA, right? Operating income. So operating income can be EBIT or EBITDA, but we are considering EBIT, right? So it will be 10 million minus 6 million minus 0.5 minus R&D of 1 million and depreciation of 1 million divided by sales. So it is EBIT, not EBITDA, EBIT. Okay, so it is 10 minus 6 minus 0.5 minus 1 minus 1, right? This divided by 10. So it is 15%. Operating margin is 15%. Next is net profit margin. Net profit margin is deducting everything, but since you are deducting depreciation, which is a non-cash expense, right, you have to also pay some, so deduct everything, right, and then calculate tax on it. So whatever is left after taxes. So how do you do it? So you have to also consider tax. So it is 10 minus 6 million direct expense, 0.5 indirect expense, minus 1 million development cost, 1 million is depreciation that they gave. So this was profit before taxes. You have to pay 35% taxes on it. That's what given. So what is left after taxes is your net income. So net income is 0.97 and this divided by sales of 10, that is 9%, would be net profit. So gross margin 40%, operating margin 15%, and net profit after considering everything, even the taxes, is 9.75. Now in problem 24, if local company had an increase in selling expense of 300,000, how would it impact its margin? So selling expenses are going up by 300,000. So you just have to adjust the gross profit, because it will impact everything. It will impact gross profit. So selling expenses are going up. So instead of 500,000, it will be 0.8 now. So whatever we did in Problem 22, you have to just adjust it by, instead of deducting 0.5, you have to deduct 0.8 now. Okay, so let's do that. So gross margin doesn't change because it doesn't have selling expenses. Operating margin will change. Instead of 0.5, it will be 0.8, right? Because 300,000 extra. So gross operating margin will go down to 12%, and net income will also change because it will, instead of 0.5, it will be 0.8. So net income will go down to 7.8%. Okay. Next one we'll discuss 27th. Ladder has a net profit margin of 5% on sales of 50 million. It has a book value of 40 million and liability with a book, it has a book value of equity 40 million and total liabilities with a book value of 30. What is Ladder's ROE and ROA? So let's see, how do you calculate ROA? ROA is net income divided by book value of equity. What is ROA? Net income divided by assets. So first is calculating ROE. It is net income divided by book value of equity. So which is very straightforward. They have given you net profit margin of 5%. So on sales of 50 million, what will be net income? It will be 5% of 50. So 2.5 million will be net income. Book value of equity is given to you. Book value of equity is 40 million, 40. So it is 40. So it is 2.5 divided by 40, 6%. 6% would be ROE. Now return on asset is calculated using net income, which we know 2.5 divided by total assets. Now you don't know assets, right? They haven't given you assets here, but you know equity and liabilities. So based on balance sheet, assets equal liabilities plus equity. Okay, so assets would be, debt is 30 and equity is 40. So 30 plus 40, 70 million net assets. So ratio will be net income divided by 70 million, 3.57%. Okay, let's do 28 now. JPG Corp has sale of $1 million, account receivable of 50,000, total assets worth 5 million, of which 3 million are fixed assets, inventory 150,000 and cost of goods sold 600,000. What is JJ's account receivable days, fixed asset turnover and total asset turnover and inventory turnover? So they are asking you 4 things. So let's note down how to calculate each one of them and then do it. So first is account receivable turnover. It is nothing but account receivable divided by average daily sales. Okay. Next is fixed asset turnover, which is nothing but sales divided by fixed asset. And total asset turnover, or also known as asset turnover, which is nothing but sales divided by total assets. So now what you have to do is just put it in formulas. So account receivables, they have given account receivables 50,000 divided by average daily sales. So total sales divided by 365. Total sales are 1 million divided by 365. So it is 18.25. Account receivables are 18.25. 25. It takes 18 days for customers to pay their money on an average, right? Then fixed asset turnover, sales divided by total assets. So sales, we know 1 million divided by total assets, sorry, fixed assets, that is fixed assets are 3 million. Okay, one more zero. So it's 0.33. Fixed asset turnovers is 0.33. So for every fixed asset of $1, it is generating sales. It is converting it to sales of $0.33. Total assets are turnover 1 million sales divided by, I know the figure, 5 million of total assets. So it is 0.2. So 20 cents of sales are generated for $1 of asset. The next one is 31. You're analyzing leverage of two firms and you note the following values. So firm 1, debt is given, book value of equity is given, market value of equity is given, operating income is given, interest expense is given. So you have to calculate. So I'll just copy this, which is because it's in table, it will be easy, hopefully. Yeah. So you have to calculate market debt to equity ratio, book debt to equity ratio, and interest coverage ratio, and finally which will be better off. So for each firm we have to calculate market debt to equity ratio, then we have to calculate book debt to equity ratio, and interest coverage ratio. Okay, so market to debt ratio, that will be total debt divided by market value of equity. So total debt divided by market value of equity. So it is 2 and 1.25. Then book value is total debt divided by book value of equity. So 1.66 and 2.28, and interest coverage ratio is operating income divided by interest payment. So 2 and 1.42. So firm B has more debt and it has less interest coverage ratio because my debt is more and interest coverage ratio is also lower. So more debt is a problem because it has higher debt expense than firm A, and interest coverage ratio means are your earnings enough to pay your interest. Now it has a lower interest coverage ratio, which means it doesn't have in earnings as much as firm A to pay its interest obligation. So if times are tough, B will be in more problems than A. Next is 34. Consider a retail firm with a profit margin of 3.5%, total asset turnover of 1.8 and total assets of 44 million and book value of equity is 18 million. What is firm's ROE? If the profit increases by 4%, what would be ROE? In addition, if the firm increases revenue by 20%, maintaining this higher profit margin and without changing its assets of liability, what would be ROE? So they are asking you to calculate, means do dew point analysis. So I'll delete this. So what is dew point? Dew point says ROE equals, so if you go here, profit margin multiplied by asset turnover and finally equity multiplier. Okay, profit margin is given to you 3.5%. Asset turnover is given to you 1.8. You have to calculate equity multiplier because I didn't see that. Equity multiplier is always total assets 44 million divided by book value of equity 18 million. So it is 44 divided by 18, and ROE will be multiplication of all three. So current ROE is 15.4%. Now they are saying what would happen if net profit increases to 4%. So instead of 3.5% and these two remain same. Okay, what would happen to ROE? ROE is this multiplied by this multiplied by this. Okay, so ROE goes up to 17.6%. Now in the third case, what are they asking? The firm increases its revenue by 20% while maintaining the higher profit margin without changing its assets or liabilities, right? So revenues are going up. So where do revenues come in? Revenues come in asset turnover. Asset turnover is sales divided by total assets. So this is going up by 20%. So instead of 1.8, it will be going up by 20%. So this is 4%, right? In addition, that's why. Okay, if it in addition, so it's already 4%. Now this goes up by 20%. So into 1.2. Okay, and this is same. So what will happen to ROE? ROE will go up further to 21%. Okay, so these were few problems that we have discussed. So hope you understood it, and probably try these problems again, and if you have any questions, we'll discuss.